like to call the meeting to order of the Southborough Library Board of Trustees at 12:14 on Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Little mistake, it's 2025 now, Ryan, not 2024 on the agenda, but so let's go to the minutes from the December meeting. Did anyone have any edits or corrections?
I don't know if I got that, but anyway, I'll go along with anybody else.
I don't think I got it.
Did the minutes get sent? I don't
remember seeing
I
them.
got Ryan's 3 documents
Yeah.
that he sent. Would the minutes have been a separate email from that? I actually didn't see them myself.
Yes,
Okay.
and I may not have sent them.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's
Moving right
move on.
along.
Just table that
Moving
for next
along.
time.
Next time.
If you guys want me to pull up the minutes, they're actually very quick because that was the in-person one from the December meeting.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want to do that? Would that be okay, Jane? If I
Maybe we should
share
to
the
just
screen?
Let's
just get things done in time.
Just get going. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I got it either.
Then send it. It was a rough month in my defense. Not an excuse though, so I do apologize to all of you.
I'm really, really sorry to hold you guys up. I really apologize.
David,
Whatever.
it's fine. It
It's
happens.
fine.
Yeah.
Stuff happens, right?
And blame it on the Trump administration. How's that?
No,
Well, I
don't go
I think
there.
we'll all be doing a lot of that.
Yeah, I can't talk about it.
My sister wore black yesterday.
My favorite quote from yesterday from our new president was, quote, "I was sent by God to make America great."
Okay, no more. No, can't hear anymore. Here's the minutes.
Okay.
Amy, we're reading the minutes now since they didn't come to us via email. If you're there, Amy.
Sorry for being late. I had to deal with something unexpected.
Is the dog okay?
And she's dying. So no,
Oh,
Amy, I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's,
How
you
old
know,
is she?
10 and a half, kidney
God.
disease brought on
Oh.
by 2 really bad Lyme disease bouts this summer.
okay.
I've got a 15-year-old who keeps chugging and it's just waiting for her to just keel over one day, but she doesn't.
Well, yeah, we had a
Okay.
lab that made it to almost 16. So I thought, oh, this is a much smaller dog. She'll
Yeah.
last much longer, but
It's a lab. Yep.
this
We'll
one's
keep
just
reading.
little
Yeah.
one. So I thought I saw this. Let's see.
I don't think I sent it, Amy.
Okay. I was looking while I was waiting to be promoted to panelist. I didn't see it.
D&D. What are D&D programs will be promoted by friends, funded by friends?
Yeah.
What are those? D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
We'll put that. We should explicitly state it. We shouldn't abbreviate. There's
Okay.
also, if you look, if I'm gonna go back for a second, because there is a question mark. It said Ryan might make an exception at the end of the fiscal year. That should just be a period, not a question mark. Here,
Okay.
look,
Yep.
I can actually live edit for you guys for the first time ever.
Hey.
Okay. Very slowly do it. Wait, oh, I see. Yes.
Oh.
I read that. We talked about that. Yes. Oh, okay.
There you go.
Thank you. I'm not with it.
So hosting a grant,
A
I guess.
grant reception.
No,
Wait,
it
wait.
should say possibly.
Sorry,
Okay.
and just for clarification, in this first sentence of that, friends, do you want to capitalize that or say the friends? Will everyone know that it's
No, you should
The friend.
capitalize that by the friends, yes,
Better?
yeah.
yes.
Okay. When we're ready, let me know when I'll go into the second page for the 420 budget.
Mhm.
Ready?
I'm done.
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry, it's moving while you're trying to read.
Yeah.
Patrons login.
Something's funny about that second
CW
sentence.
Mars,
Easy
yeah.
proxy offered
attachment.
through CW Mars lets patrons.
There should be an S there.
Mm.
Yeah, okay.
Login from
Login
home.
is one word. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Heritage Quest. I forgot that name.
Okay. Everybody good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
Sorry.
sorry.
Go back up.
No, just is it the MBLCP or is it MP?
So I have the acronym down finally after all this time. It's the MPLCP, the Massachusetts Public Library Construction Program. Finally
Oh,
learned it when I no longer need to.
right? I
Well, it
kept
won't for a
saying
while.
MBLCP. So,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
But the grant
okay.
itself is from the MBLC. So okay, got it.
Yeah. So it's the MPLCP grant distributed by the MBLC, which is the
Got it.
Massachusetts Board of
Board of Library
Commissioners.
Commissioners. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe we should say that. We'll say MPLC grant. Let me put distributed by the MBLC. There you go. Then we get all our acronyms in, Mary. Okay. Just the adjournment.
No.
Go back a little.
Did I go
please.
too fast, Janet?
Yeah.
Go back up?
A
Yeah,
little
just a
bit,
little.
yes.
I will.
Okay. I was okay. I just didn't
Okay.
know if you skipped something.
All right. Do you feel comfortable approving?
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, then someone can make a motion and you guys can vote if you'd like.
No move.
Okay.
I move to accept the minutes as edited. David seconds it. All those in favor? Janet, Mamie,
Aye.
Yazdani,
I,
Eckberg,
Aye.
Timothy,
I
and Davis, aye. So the minutes are accepted as amended. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the director's report. Budget, spending is continuing, that's good. The news bank access, Brian, why don't you, Ryan, why don't you talk about this?
Yeah, so this is more sort of, because I like to give you guys heads up and know things when I know things. Basically, we've been part of my entire tenure here, a group of libraries that has kind of shared a newspaper access point through a company called Newsbank. So that gives us access to over 200 Massachusetts publications. Usage only really peaked during COVID, as it did for all of our databases. I'm happy to share with you guys the database spreadsheet at the next meeting that gives you the statistics. but our statistics on this are not good currently. There's been kind of a change. Newsbank would like to charge more and to give access to publications outside of Massachusetts, which is not something most of the libraries want to do. They wanted it specific to Massachusetts. That's why we pay them. So they're going to continue it for one more year. This was something that was organized by a library director named Ellen Dolan, who was the previous director of Shrewsbury. She retired. This became the responsibility of the assistant director, Michael Zeller, who has now accepted a job as the director of the Auburn Library. So there's an electronic resources librarian at Shrewsbury. Her name is Hedda. She's great. I've talked a lot with her and Michael about this. Shrewsbury most likely is going to continue paying for this for essentially forever, but we may not help anymore after this year because we can't pay more than what they're going to ask. We're already over, I think it's going to be close to $2,800 next year. So it's becoming, to be blunt, too rich for our blood, especially when people are not utilizing it. So
Okay.
I did promise you guys we'd look at databases year to year, and this is one of those ones where I don't think we can justify the expense.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that. What about the rest of you? Anybody?
No problem.
Yep.
Makes sense.
We're
So
good.
we're not going to be put in a situation like this only because we don't do sort of a resource sharing agreement with any other library. And this was something that Jane Kane had undertaken when she was library director. So to be honest, it's just sort of dissolving. We had to recruit libraries to join a couple years ago because so many other libraries had left. And then because there's new directors at Marlborough and Westborough, those were kind of the big libraries in the local consortia. They are now leaving this year. So that kind of is also going to prevent us from having that buying power. The databases we subscribe to, other than this, we all independently pay for so that we can more make that decision. This is kind of being made for us, is what I can tell you. Whereas we can make the decision about resources in the future. I will also say this is helpful. We're not doing this because of this, but it's a little bit more expensive than the Library Speaker Consortium platform that we just got grant funded for a year. We didn't budget for that resource because we thought maybe there'd be a 6-month drop off between trying to get it and then renew it. But this would give us the flexibility next year to renew that if it's popular, which already we've gotten a lot of interest from patrons. So
Okay, that sounds like a good outcome.
yeah, we're trying to
Once
make
you got the
lemonade
grant.
out of lemons. Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going.
The computer issues are really boring, but I summarized it for you guys so that you could see what's going on. I am happy to report I have breaking news for all of you. If you had tried to access our website and you were seeing a delay in the load time for the site, that was because it's still the reason for most of my pain in the last 6 months. The Plymouth Rocket people who did the museum passes that went out of business, we had integrated code in order to have their events on our site. That code needed to be removed from the vendor end. So that has taken place now, and there's no more lag time on the website. That got resolved today. So I always like giving you good news on the meeting live, but the amount of time I had to spend on the website taking 30 seconds extra to load, I'm just going to tell you was significant. So, these are sometimes the things I have to work on. And Jay was very responsive from IT, as was our website vendor. So
Okay, well, that has a positive resolution. Sorry it took you away from other things. But it's all good now, right?
yep. And we've had very little transition headache between Assabet, the move to Assabet for events and for museum passes. We were hopeful that people could reserve museum passes through the catalog. And this is kind of interesting. They can do it from the catalog machine upstairs, but they can't do it from the children's room. And to be honest, I wanted it more in the children's room than upstairs. So we don't understand if this is like some sort of coding error. The computer upstairs is newer, so that might be a factor. But a lot of people are finding this to be very easy to do it from their phones. Plymouth Rocket required the PIN to be entered as well as the library card number. Assabet does not, but it does confirm your information when you're on the next screen. So if you guys try to book a museum pass, you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or the staff, and we will be happy to explain what's going on.
Okay, sounds good. And you had to replace lights on the main floor.
Yeah, that all got done, thankfully. They did have to bring in, it is a little bit of a pain for them when something goes down in the front room, in the Judy Williams reading room, or in the circulation area, only because they have to bring in a pretty substantially high ladder. And then we do try to target those when it's really, really quiet here or in the morning before we open. But on Friday, they were able to come in the afternoon. It was not crowded. So we were able to get it done pretty quick.
Oh, okay, I saw them with that big ladder, yes. Okay, good. We already know about the grant, but if you want to talk about it some more.
It's just, you know, a notification to the public because you're aware, our friends group is aware, as are town officials and select board members, but we were not one of the communities accepted into the MPLCP grant program distributed by the MPLC. So, you know, I'm smiling, but this is obviously sad news for us. I think my intention is to try to do some interim work and to identify maybe some furniture updates we could do in the next few years as we get ready to reapply. And then we really do have a great foundation. I mean, we probably have 80 to 85% of the application done the next time we go to do it. One of the, I would say, big financial breakouts that I would have to come back and talk to you all is I'd like to work with a consultant, whether or not that consultant ultimately becomes me, because that might happen, but if we go to an outside consultant, I'd like to have somebody come and do a space assessment for the building where they go around and take photographs of things and then write up little descriptions. So that person could work with me. I have just reached out in a preliminary way to the people who assisted us with the CPA project, because we did do like a building assessment that got included with the grant package this time. And neither of them, I think, are able to help us in the next couple of years. One, I think, is essentially retiring from the architecture firm. And then the other one now has a different role where they're a municipal official. So they're not involved in a consulting company anymore. So I'm trying to find names of other people we could work with, but I could also take time out, take pictures and write up descriptions and then have it reviewed by you guys. So if we have to go that route, we could. It'll just take me a little bit longer, I would say, than if we hire somebody. So
Okay, could I say a couple things? First of all, the fact that we were not a recipient, what is the message as a group that we're sending out to the town? I think, you know, why didn't we get it? What was wrong with Southborough? I think we have to have just a united statement, don't you? I mean, my take on it is that we didn't get it because the mean income here is too high, and we did not look like a town that was as needy as other recipients. And it seems to me if we reapply, that's still gonna be
It's not gonna change.
right.
Well, the metrics on this, if I remember correctly, Ryan, were that the of 0 to 20, the towns that got the award were in the range of 11 to 16, and Southborough was 2.2 or 2.4?
So
I
we
mean-
were, so every community that applied was assessed a needs rating. I
Right,
don't have data on how this needs rating was calculated, but that's something people can reach out to the MBLC about if they have questions. Right, I'm getting my acronyms mixed up if I say it too fast.
Well-
We received a 2 point, it was out of 20, so you
Yeah.
could get up to 20 points. We got a 2.44. My
yeah,
understanding is that most of the communities that were accepted into the program got somewhere between 11 to 16. Their needs rating was assessed there. I don't think
Right.
anybody was 0 and anybody was a 20. There were, just to give you metrics on this, in case I didn't, because I have more data now, is because the MBLC meeting happened, I think, after I spoke to most of you. There were 22 total applicants into this program. 15 of them are getting some level of funding. Some of them not right away. Some of them were waitlisted for a year or two. Or I think in one case, one of the communities still needs to comply with the Communities Act, the MBTA Communities Act. So there were 7. We were one of the 7 that received no funding at all. So we weren't the only community. That's the first thing. If the board is concerned about this, and I don't think you have to make a decision right now, but you can, we do not need to pursue reapplying. But to me, I think it would be worth one more shot. I do think if we know how many communities are applying, that's definitely going to be a factor in managing our own expectations. But if we are, I will say this, if there were 15 communities that received funding and there were only 15 applicants, we would have gotten funded, most
Would
likely.
we though?
Okay, but yeah, but I think we need to go deeper into the reason we got a 3, why we did not seem to meet the criterion that we really needed to expand the library. Or our town was not representative in the way that many of these other towns were, that they were more needy. So I think before we say, oh, we're just gonna try it again, no, we need to go into this and see what, my thinking is that it was because Southwood's a wealthy town, not everybody, but if you lump everyone together, the needle is pretty high. Is that not true?
That's true.
And is this the reason we didn't get it?
I want to just bring up something else, and it's a question for Ryan, because I want to make sure I'm speaking accurately here. While I think that this 2 rating and the level of wealth in the town and the potential possibility of townspeople to somehow fundraise for this outside of a state grant is the largest portion of why we didn't receive it. Ryan, am I remembering correctly that at a friends meeting, you might have also mentioned that something about the public surveys might also have worked to our disadvantage?
I think that was part of it too. People were very happy with the library because, and that I think that backfired because they weren't complaining, And sorry, I'm interrupting, but I think it's the nature of our town again. There's no meeting point. There's no, it works as the town sort of, that's the wrong word, but a place where people get together
Mhm.
because there's no other town center. So of course people like it because that's all there is.
Yeah.
And they're using it in that way.
Yeah, I call it our
So,
town living room or our town den for that
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
yeah,
So I just want to throw this out there too, because as we think about this, I think this will be a factor, and it's exactly kind of what you're talking about is, okay, so with the discussions about the potential renovation at Neary, if that goes through, there's also the potential of what gets done at Finn. And if that becomes some sort of community center-esque place, which of course would take lots of money and many years to do, there is a chance that that then also sort of shifts some of where people are coming together for. And I don't want that messaging or that sort of fundraising to happen at the expense of the library getting what it needs in the future too. So I don't know how that all comes together here, but I think it's important to consider as we're trying to figure out whether to apply for something else and how to get what the library still very much needs, even though it might not be happening in the next year or two.
So just, if it's okay, Jane, I'll just respond to a couple people, kind of, I think, in order to questions, and then just generally to your point, Jane, too. But Amy, I do think if they had accepted a limited number of funding requests, we would have been funded. I think it was important for them to set a tone that it was going to be competitive, because they didn't want to accept people and then not have construction occur until 6-7 years later. That is sort of what happened with Westboro. And it ended up being that they didn't get a grant, because it ultimately got rejected by the town when the construction prices ballooned. So I think the idea was, if you weren't accepted into this, hopefully you would reapply. At the MBLC meeting, they did encourage the communities, us included, to reapply in the next time. I can try to engage with the consultants whether or not this is a valuable use of our time. I can ask that question. I'm happy to, because I think that that is feedback I'm getting from the board, from more than one person. And I think that's fair. So I did ask the consultant that I spoke with repeatedly if there was something we could have done differently on the application, if our our space assessment was too out of date, because I was concerned about that, because it was from 2017. I was concerned about something I had done wrong, like in the application, in the building program, because it has a lot of pictures. There's about 30 pages of narrative. Was that just not completed correctly, right? And I was told that the application was fully complete. There wasn't any feedback from the independent review team on things in the grant application I had to change, that it really came down to the needs rating being added on to people's scores, which might not be a factor in a second round in the future.
Oh,
I
good.
do, sorry,
We
Janet,
didn't
I'll
know
just say
about
one
that
more.
needs rating?
What?
That needs rating is new?
Yes, this is the first time they've done a competitive round of the grant.
Wow.
They've so basically, if you
They saw
submitted a
us coming.
completed application, yeah, if you submitted a completed application in previous grant rounds, what they would do is just waitlist people depending on their need. So the need was still assessed. It was just you were put down a pipeline. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
And again, I'm paraphrasing. I don't work for the MBLC, so I just followed this process over the years, and I'm trying to explain it to the best of my ability. So I just want to say, if anybody from the MBLC is watching, I'm trying to explain it. But this is the consulting, our construction specialists at MBLC are new. They're both former library directors that worked with the MPLCP program in the past, and they've sort of worked with the MBLC to kind of reimagine it in a way I think that works better on managing expectations and trying to get the funding dispersed quicker. But again, I think there was a misconception for previous people like Westboro, who went through this process, got a grant approved, and then by the time they had to go to their town to ask for money, the town didn't want to fund the library anymore. That's how long it took. So they didn't want libraries in that same situation. And that was the idea of what, for better or for worse. I think that was what the intention was.
Okay.
Hmm.
I am happy not to I think it's a little raw too, because we just found out about this and we don't even have to make any decisions about this until the grant round opens up again. I still think it's worth doing a space assessment because if we end up staying in this building, I think we should work with a consultant on how best to maximize the space here. And I think having recommendations on that only kind of strengthens a future application if we do reapply, or it helps us if we don't, because then
Yeah.
we're best maximizing the space here.
And
But again, we don't
also,
have-
just to,
Yep.
I was just gonna say, just to also connect that with the other projects that people are thinking about in town, the more sort of concrete data you can have collected about the library's current status, space, and needs allow more things to be concretely communicated rather than in the abstract, which I think is also very important in relation to the larger conversations of moving parts in town.
Agreed.
Okay, I think that's a good point. Does anyone else have any? So what I said, it was we need to have a united message. I guess that's just what Ryan said. I guess I don't put as much stock in the numbers thing, that there were 22 and, that there wasn't enough to go around. That's like gambling almost. See how many, how many applicants, and let's hope that it's better next time. We don't have any control over that.
Yeah. But I think if they're always going to use a needs assessment as part of it, we are not going to get a grant.
Right,
Remember
right.
years ago where I was writing a whole bunch there were all these organizations offering literacy grants. And I was working with the teachers and all the stuff. We got a ton of these things. And finally, somebody was kind enough to tell me, you're never going to get one. You are not the target audience for literacy grants. Town
Right.
is too affluent. It's never going to happen.
Right,
So,
well, yes,
yeah.
so let's step back, and I think the idea, my opinion, of the doing an assessment is good, but I don't know that it should be chaired by you, Ryan. I think we need someone independent. Too much
I
for your-
agree.
Too much on your plate. This is crazy town. We need to have some outside person. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
So I'll continue trying to ask around, try to get some referrals from people who have provided reports to other libraries, and I'll bring back some information, hopefully in February.
Okay, is that everyone else on board with that?
Yes.
Okay,
Just so
great.
you don't misunderstand, Ryan, I'm very much in favor of taking a second bite at the apple whenever that might be appropriate. But I think the reality is this needs assessment. Of all the cities and towns in Worcester County, based on average family income and on assessed value of homes, only the town of Harvard is higher than the town of Southborough. So we're going to, we're in effect, we're sort of a victim here of our socioeconomic status. If I'm not sure if that's the right way to put it, and that probably isn't going to change. I sound contradictory, but I think we need to smell the coffee on the realities of the rating, the needs assessment, balanced against what our chances are. I mean, you invested a tremendous amount of effort and time, and should be very proud of yourself for the application that went in. But we're sort of swimming upstream, I think, with respect to how we are classified as socioeconomically as a town.
Okay.
Yeah, we encountered that in
Yeah,
Girl
yeah.
Scouts too, so I I don't think
Yeah.
it's just,
I don't think it's gonna change.
Well,
Okay,
one thing that
go ahead.
I would just say the
Ryan.
one thing that could change is they may not do the grant round the same way when we reapply. That the consultant noted that this was their initial attempt at doing this. I do not think that they were happy that they had to tell people they didn't get the grant. That was my sense, is that she was aware of how much time and energy not only I put into it, but other municipal officials, all of you, our friends group. There was many, many hours, days spent on this. So I think that they're aware of that. And I think that they're trying to think about ways to engage with people in the future differently. So I would just say, let's stay tuned. Let's see what it's like. And then we do have some more informed questions if a grant round opens up next time.
Okay. That sounds like a good plan. Where else are we on here? The Cultural Arts Council we received 2 different grants, which is wonderful.
Yeah,
So have we covered the director's report? I have to
Yeah.
tell you, I really have a hard stop in about 15 minutes, so if someone
Me-
else can carry
Yeah.
on after me.
no, we can go really quick after this, Jane, I promise. So if you
No,
want to
this
go
was,
to,
we needed to talk about this. We haven't seen each other since this all, this
Went down.
information became available. So no, this is important. So go ahead, Ryan. What were you gonna say?
so yeah, that's it for the director's report. Expense report, things are moving along. I don't know if you have any questions.
Um, so we talked about you're doing it, the expenses as of the end of the prior month, so we'd have full month to full month comparison. That's
Yeah.
not what this is, right? Because you said 7-month, which would be.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did update it to the new month and then but all the data in it is from December. So the percentages are all going to be off. So what I'll do, I'll resend a corrected report with the
Okay.
6 entered that will have the corrected stuff. You're right, Janet. I'm so used to updating it that I didn't do it correctly. So I will amend
Want to
the
make sure I didn't
expense
get it wrong.
report. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll send you guys the amended minutes too, so you have a copy of it, but I'll do that with the amended expense report. So just the totals are correct for December, the percentages are not. So I
Okay.
apologize.
okey doke.
Okay, any other comments about the expense report? This says budget draft. Did we get that?
Yeah, we already
Oh.
did it. It was from, sorry, that was a carryover. I just wanted to give a quick update. We usually do a round robin where we sometimes have to, I go and I invite you guys to come with me to go to select board, to go to advisory. Brian Ballantyne and I have spoken about the budget draft. Since our current total is at a 4.5% increase and most budgets, if they're under 5% are not being kind of flagged for advisory conversations. That's my current understanding. We may not have to go and speak with advisory. I always say I like to go as a courtesy because I don't often get to talk to them. Marguerite and I went to this meeting last year and they didn't have a lot of questions for us, I can tell you. So I'll just keep you guys posted on this, but we haven't gotten any pushback, negative feedback about the budget proposal at all. So that is, the 4.5 is where we stand right now.
So maybe we're not asking for enough.
I like
I
your
guess
thinking.
if, yeah,
I agree.
Why are we being so cooperative? Okay, let's keep going. Child safe policy, safe child policy.
so I didn't get
Wait.
any, yeah, no, I didn't get any feedback from anybody last time. What I would like to do as the next step is just kind of polish the policy so it's formatted a little bit better, and then run it by the police chief and then by town council during office hours. So if that's okay with everybody as a next step, I will do that. I was kind of waiting on board feedback before I took those next actions.
Okay,
I
We
think
got a
everything
couple.
looked good and Kim and your staff are comfortable with what you got, and that's the most important thing. So, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
it's very brief now, so
Good.
there's not a lot.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Nothing wrong with that. And then you sent us the library submission for the annual town report.
Yes.
Um,
I would like to thank the trustee who helped provide edits. Big thanks to Mariana, who did update a lot of the information. I'll give myself credit too. I had to update a lot too. And then we did submit some pictures that'll hopefully go in the annual town report, but there was some summer reading program photos and
Yeah.
then a couple pictures from the book sale. So you see them tiny, but we gave larger versions to the town with the submission. So
So I have
Okay.
some edits. Do you want to hear those now or? Do you want me
can
to
you
send them?
send them? Can you send them to me, Janet? And then
Sure.
I will, so it was due last Friday, but let
Oh.
me double check because I think Melanie did say that today was like the final day to do any sort of last minute stuff. Can you send
Okay.
it to me today?
Yeah.
Is that okay? All right.
Mhm.
I'm sorry about the condensed time frame, but if you have edits, just send them on over and I'll double check with Melanie after this.
Could
Okay.
I just ask a question? You mentioned Overdrive, but you don't mention Libby. Is Libby not? Is it frowned
Libby,
upon?
so yeah, Overdrive is the app. I'm sorry, Overdrive is the company, Libby is the app. That's a fair point. Jane.
Yeah.
Maybe we really should be putting the Libby app instead
Yeah.
of Overdrive there. Since Janet's sending me updates anyway, that's a very easy thing to update on our end.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yes, send your edits.
Okay.
The library director contract, have we worked on that? since last
No, but
time?
I'm gonna come with you guys with stuff next month. That's my
Good.
goal. Because now that
Okay.
we're behind, now that construction is not happening, I got more time to work on this. So
There's always a silver lining, right?
Mhm.
Okay, sounds good. Any, I can't tell if there are any other people here, or can you? Public comment?
no,
Nobody's here.
we're alone right now.
Okay. So does anybody have,
Shocking.
does anybody have any other business to bring
Next
before the
meeting?
board?
Schedule the
Oh.
next meeting?
Schedule next meeting, good point.
I'd be happy to talk to you guys about a date. Just let me
Okay.
pull up holidays, as I always like to do.
There's President's Day, it's gonna,
Yeah, so that would, again, because we're kind of sticking to the third week, we'd run into it if we did Monday. So we could do you guys want to stick with a Monday? Yay or nay?
Doesn't
Monday's
matter.
fine.
Doesn't matter.
Okay,
What
I
about the
think we should,
24th? Oh, sorry.
we could, no, that's fine. Let's start there. Jane says 24th. Does that work for people?
I can't do any of that week.
Not best.
Um,
Not good for me either.
Okay,
So the
Uh,
week of the 17th is school vacation week. I don't know whether
yes,
Are you
you
around,
like
Mary?
that either.
Yes, the 18th, if we did that week, I am around after the 17th. Or I should say I'm available after the 17th. I have something I have to be at on the 17th.
do you,
So does the 18th
Janet,
work?
can you do the 18th?
I can.
Janet? And Mary and Amy and
I can.
David? Yes,
Yes.
Yep.
David?
I'm okay.
Okay, well, let's try for the 18th, at 11.
okay,
Does that work for you, Ryan?
Yeah.
That would matter. Yes?
Okay.
Okay, next meeting, Tuesday, February 18th at 11 o'clock on Zoom.
Okay.
All right, so, does someone please move to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Janet seconds, all in favor?
Hi.
Janet, aye, okay.
Cindy, I.
Yes, Donnie, I.
Janet, aye.
Ekberg, aye.
Ekberg, aye.
Okay, Davis, aye. All right, the meeting's adjourned at 12:58.
Thank you, Jane.
Thanks,
Oh, my
Jane.
pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Again, I
Okay.
apologize for my lateness.
I too.
David,
No, don't
stop
worry about it.
apologizing. It's fine.
It's
I
fine.
didn't send you guys the minutes from last time. I clearly, I think if somebody's in error here, it might be me. So I promise February will be better. Month of love your library.
Month
So we'll
of
do better.
love.
Right.
yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Okay,
Bye.
have a
Bye.
nice week. Bye-bye.